On August 23, 2022, Tampa police responded to the report of a carjacking in the 16,000 block of Enclave Village, Dr.
Attention 10 again, coming back out on the 34th Street, going back southbound 34th. I need to block up Windmeadows Boulevard.
This is Omar Felix Cueva, 39 years old. He committed extremely serious offenses by using a firearm to attack multiple police officers. On February 4, 2021, he used an AR-15 style rifle and fired at least one shot at Officer Jarrett as he was walking to the rear of the vehicle. This is one of the very dangerous situations that occur daily with police officers, as you can see. After shooting Officer Jarrett point blank in the back of the head, Cueva immediately fled the scene. Prior to the pickup coming to a stop, Cueva exited the pickup armed with a firearm and shot multiple rounds towards the officers and deputies. LCPD officer Adrian de la Garza and DASO deputies Diego Herrera and Obet Mart returned fire towards Cueva, who was struck several times by gunfire. Cueva sustained fatal injuries and was pronounced deceased on scene by the Office of Medical Investigator. No officer should be alone. Police are searching for three men who attempted to steal about $5,000 worth of merchandise from Home Depot Wednesday afternoon. Two of the men fled on foot behind the store south on David Memorial Drive. At the same time, getaway vehicles were trying to exit the rear parking lot as officers with Shenandoah Police Department responded. Intense video released to the Courier by SPD shows the Charger drove west on Alexandra Lane. The Charger eventually turned south onto the northbound frontage road after the loose tire came off and narrowly missed an SUV. As the smoking, disabled Charger came to a stop, two men later identified as Darrell Lee, 20, and Devonta Lee, 17, allegedly fled east on foot back into the Home Depot parking lot. After a brief foot chase, officers arrested the two and charged them with felony theft. A University of Wisconsin Stout student pulled over for speeding last month near campus was rushing to give a presentation and didn't know how to tie his necktie. "I have to get a tie tied," the driver said. "I have a presentation and I thought my buddy was home but he's not, and I'm running behind." Before asking for his license and insurance, the officer asked the student for his tie, then loosely tied it around his own neck before handing it back. "While I do this, why don't you grab your proof of insurance and your driver's license real quick?" Officer Fulchik said. "Probably not the best knot, but it will work better than what I was going to do," the student said. The student was given a verbal warning. After seeing the video of the traffic stop, the police chief invited the driver back to the police station and taught him to properly tie his own tie. This black GMC Sierra was known to be driven by arrested person Christopher Monroe, who was wanted for drug traffic charges out of Sherwood PD. Immediately upon detecting the suspect moving on the road, the police attempted to block him to prevent him from fleeing and becoming a danger to the public. The police attempted a TVI tactical vehicle intervention on arrested person Monroe's vehicle. The vehicle subsequently overturned, causing all the belongings inside to be scattered outside. Immediately, the police apprehended the suspect. He resisted fiercely, but with their expertise, the police managed to get him into the police vehicle. These are the items that the police discovered in the suspect's vehicle. Naturally, he will be prosecuted for a variety of crimes. On July 12, 2023, the police was notified about a pursuit coming eastbound on Interstate 40 from the 256-mile marker. The police attempted to get spike strips set up around the 274-mile marker. Due to heavy traffic and the speeds the suspects were approaching, he had to disregard. He got back on Interstate 40 and noticed the suspect driving a gray Tesla approaching in the left lane. Let's see what the police did to stop this car. The suspect's vehicle came to a stop and both suspects were placed into custody without incident. This is David Rourke. As you can see, he is driving very dangerously on the road, but in fact, he is feeling very scared. What happened? On September 29, 2023, the police were patrolling on Interstate 30 when they received calls about a black motorcycle driving extremely dangerously. The driver was slamming on the brakes in front of vehicles, constantly changing lanes and attempting to evade the police. So, what is he afraid of? The police then used his bumper to contact the motorcycle's rear right saddlebag. This contact caused the rear tire to lose and then regain traction quickly. When the tire regained traction, the operator accelerated over a curb, became airborne, and crashed into the grass. After being apprehended, David Rourke admitted to having unintentionally taken an unidentified pill which caused him to feel threatened by everyone on the road. What do you think if I say that the driver of this car is a woman and there's still a child inside? This woman is Sierra Hibbert, 24 years old. On Friday, July 15, 2022, Byron police officers were given a lookout on a SUV driving reckless on Highway 40 to coming into town. Byron police officers arrived on scene and attempts were made to talk to the driver, and she was uncooperative and would not talk to officers or respond to command. After several minutes, the driver backed into a car stopped behind her and then pulled forward, hitting a Byron police officer and a Byron police car. Officers attempted to block the car and she backed into a third Byron police car, then drove forward, hitting a Byron police car for the second time, causing serious damage to the car. The suspect continued on Highway 49 for a short distance where Byron officers were able to block her in and take her into custody. This is Alexandria Mason, who had an active felony warrant out of Citrus County for failure to appear in reference to the possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia. After the initial traffic stop near I-95 and SR-16, a DUI unit deputy responded and began to investigate possible impairment. During the investigation, Mason refused to comply with commands and fled in her vehicle, driving recklessly on I-95 northbound. Deputies were assisted by the SJSO Aviation Unit and were joined by the Florida Highway Patrol (FHP) as the pursuit approached Jacksonville. FHP troopers successfully executed a precision immobilization technique pit maneuver near I-95 and Atlantic BLVD, which ended the pursuit. This is Brittany Johns. She had an accident while trying to flee from the police. An NCIC check showed Johns has an active warrant out of Illinois with full extradition. On September 7, 2022, at approximately 7:03 p.m., the police observed a red Pontiac Grand Prix passing on the right shoulder and traveling at approximately 50 miles per hour. The driver is an accomplice with Johns. He was identified as Eric Winford. The police detected the smell of marijuana in the car, but when questioned by the police, both subjects denied it. While the police were checking Winford and John's bags, Johns got into the car and fled. However, Johns immediately lost control and crashed into a box truck. The red Pontiac hit a box truck and was cut in half. Johns was lying with her legs in the front passenger area and her head was on the ground where the back seats would normally be.